Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining in. So let's begin. Alright, so this is our topic today, Introduction to Git and GitHub. It's a very common topic, and usually there are multiple various open source programs. Uh, for example, Girl Script Summer of Code, and there are many like Script Summer of Code, even Winter of Code, which I guess recently happened, but Girl Script one. Then there was script, and there are multiple. Like I guess there is hacking codes as well, which conducts something similar, and this is very common right now. So knowledge about what is Git, GitHub, command line, how to create pull request, how to create a repo, and some basic knowledge that is really important in today's world, especially when you want to explore a new domain that is open source. So let's begin. We have, so I'm Raksha. I'm an Alpha student ambassador, and we have another person with us, Yogita.
Hi, I'm Yogita, Alpha Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. So let's begin with what is MLSA. So Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program is a program to bring together all students from all over the world who have passion for technology, have desire and craze to learn more about technology. The ambassadors get an opportunity to interact with peers, mentors, professionals all over the world. So, Raksha, can you change the slide?
Sure.
So let's see the eligibility criteria for this program. So you must be at least 16 years old and have valid identification and be actively enrolled in an accredible higher education university. And also you should have some experience in coding or technology will definitely be helpful for you. But don't worry if you don't have much of technical background, you can learn and explore the technology using this program. So let's see the benefit of Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. You have access to Microsoft 365, which is a great opportunity and great thing you get as a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. You have Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, and you have $150 monthly subscription of Azure, which is a very great and emerging technology nowadays. You can learn Azure through this. And you can also get exam certification vouchers, LinkedIn Learning subscription, free name.com domain name, event support, engagement with cloud activates, and so many benefits now. So, and also new student ambassador get many new amazing community on Microsoft Teams. Apart from the milestones and achievements, there are three milestones you can achieve. That is alpha, beta, and gold. You have to complete the Microsoft Learn path and Azure credits will be unlocked. $150 per month Azure credits will be credited to your account with your Visual Studio Enterprise subscription benefit. LinkedIn Learning subscription, you will also receive a certificate voucher and free domain name and many more things by being an Alpha Student Ambassador for an Beta Student Ambassador. You have to host an event in your community to unlock support and resource benefits. Once you reach Beta, you could also get an invitation to join annual Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Summit. You will be receiving swags and amazing accessories from Microsoft as well. So you have a proper swag box which includes t-shirt, water bottle, cube box, and any more things, and also an iCard, which and also a certificate through which you can go to and you can join the annual Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Summit. And let's move on the gold, that is the highest and the most reputed badge. So once you have gone above and beyond in earnings in your badges, serving your local community and have been an active participant in the program, you will be invited to gold milestone. You will also be able to gain access to special events and may more be invited to become a Microsoft valuable professional. Also a gold MLS swag kit with super amazing goodies you will get. You can see all these in the next slide. Raksha, can you please move to next slide? So here you can see there are three milestones, that is alpha, beta, and goal. And here are the benefits mentioned below, which I have just told. So isn't it amazing? So isn't it amazing? MLS is a great opportunity, and I believe you all should apply for the same. So, what are you waiting for? You can apply in the link given below. So, just click the link and you can apply. So, it will ask your basic details and like name, email, phone number, etc. And also, there are some questions which you need to answer. Which you need to answer, and these questions are compulsory and are given the most preference while being selected for MLSA program.
If
So
you,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
so I'm giving some tips and tricks to answer these questions. So remember that tips and tricks so that you can also become a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and unlock many benefits like us. So here are some tips. So make sure your answers are honest and genuine. Try to explain why you are passionate about technology and what made you inspire in your best way. That is very important. And second, mention all your achievements, including projects you are working on, completed. What are the programming languages you have learned, competition, workshop you have organized, participated, or won? So these are the tips and tricks. Let me move on to more tips and tricks. That is, always you should always take an example and explain how would you teach and the topic to your peers. Like for example, if I'm taking the topic of recursion, I should always take an example of recursion. Suppose I'm taking the coin change problem. So always take an example of the question and then explain it to your peers. And if you're hosting an event, explain how would you plan it, organizing it from start, and how would you promote it to gather as many students as possible to attend the event. So here are some tips and tricks, and also it asks your social media section. So don't be hesitate to mention the any of the blogs or YouTube videos thinking that there is nothing much or there is less content. Nothing is less when you try to share your knowledge or ideas. So that's all from my side. And I hope you all will be applying to Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and hoping to see you join the community soon. So Raksha, you can take over this from now.
Sure. So if you want the link, do just send us in the chat and we'll just share the link as well.
Yes, I'm sending this link in the chat.
Okay. So now let's begin with the table of contents. So just like we discussed, we are gonna have an introduction to what is Git and GitHub basically. How is the workflow of Git as well as GitHub? How do we create a pull request directly via GitHub or via command line? And the summary and the uh, Q&A session. Okay. So what is Git and why it is important? So suppose we have various of our friends working together or multiple people across the globe want to work together on a project. How do we do that? Via using GitHub. So GitHub is a very important platform where we could all collaborate and work on a single repository, on a single project at the same time. And how do we do that is by creating multiple branches of the same. Okay. So I'll just explain by using a diagram. So for example, we are working on this main project and there are multiple people who want to add different features to our project. But at the same time, if all the people work on the same initial project, what will happen? We'll have many conflicts arising. Let's suppose I want the color to be red and some other person wanted the color to be blue. So this would help in arising multiple conflicts, right? So Git helps us in creating multiple branches and different versions of the same project such that on the similar branch, on the similar project, we have different versions created on different branches and all of us could work, push our changes, and then finally merge all our changes back into our main project, resulting in this main project. So let's just move forward and discuss how does this happen. Okay. So what is Git and GitHub? So Git is a version control system. It could be used in with various tools or locally on your computer and helps you keep track of changes in your code projects. So if you remember, I asked you to install Git Bash. So Git Bash is a tool that is used to use Git on a local system. And GitHub is a platform for coding and using that Git and collaboration. Okay. So why version control? Because emailing a file around is painful. Yeah, if we do not use like for other various examples of collaborating could be that we are creating some changes on our file, then emailing that bulk folder containing multiple files to other person, and same like if you have 5 people in a project, so multiple people would have to download the changed folder, then have some changes, then send them again and email it to other people, and so on. It would be such a tedious task. But GitHub and Git helps us in easing our process. So now let's start it. Let's get start and make an account on GitHub. Okay. So let's just move on to GitHub. Okay. So if you type www.github.com, I'm already logged in, just a sec. If you already have your GitHub account, you could just simply sign in. But if you don't, we could sign up right from here. I hope my screen is visible. Okay.
Yes, it is.
So let's just sign up first. So, okay, the page is loading up. Okay, so you could just enter your email. I'm not really creating an account because I already have one. But for all of you who doesn't have it, please follow the process side by side. And if you have any doubts, you could unmute yourself and ask. Okay, so this is not taking it in. Just use this. Okay, so I would just create some random password. Let's say anything, and then I think by pressing continue, it would just have my email account created. Okay, but I don't want to create my account as I already have one, so I'm just going to sign up. All right, so here am I. Okay, I hope you already have created your account and there are no doubts. All right, you will just ask if you have any doubts by unmuting yourself, or do you want to type in the chat box? Okay, so let's just explore GitHub. Let's go through the slides first, and then we'll see on github.com how all this really looks. So for GitHub provides us various features for collaboration. The first one being pull requests. So PRs or pull requests helps us in adding on changes to someone else's code. So that is what is written here as well. So what we want, if we wanna just make some little bit of changes, so we could just uh, add a copy, like create a copy of that code, and then just type in our changes, and then just create a PR. So the PR tab shows all the pull requests that's there. Issues shows all the issues that are created. So issues helps us in sharing a problem which we can find in someone else's code. So if we find like some maybe some in a documentation or maybe in a code, like if um like the code is not working, we find like it's just a data type that's missing. So we could just suggest that this is the problem that's there in your code, and you could just change this part. So it's very important to create issues and not directly create pull requests. So, in various organizations, when we work together and collaborate, for example, let's say Girl Script Summer of Code, so we have multiple projects there. So, what do these project owners or admins do? They have various issues that get that they create, and then we need to ask for these issues that if we could work on that particular problem, and then if that issue is assigned to us, we could then work upon it and then create a PR. So that's a workflow that gets created when we are participating in these programs, as these programs helps us in motivating and promoting GitHub. So so that's why the admins themselves create these issues. But if it's outside these programs, that's our responsibility to suggest those suggestions by creating issues. And then here comes a plus sign where we could create our own project, add it to our GitHub profile. So, okay, this is one of the GitHub project that we created for you all for how a repository looks like. Okay, let's just move on to it. We would be creating a PR soon, and then I would share. I'm just sharing it. So when we will be discussing about PRs, we will be creating PR on this repository first. And okay, so this is as we discussed. The first is the PR tab, which shows all the PRs that we have created. And this is the issues tab. So these are some of my issues that I've created while participating in various open source programs. And the plus sign on the repository. We'll also discover how to create a repository later in the session. All right, let's move ahead. Okay, so yeah, here we are. So just open that link that I shared, and there we would see the code tab there. So the code tab shows all the code that is there in our project, be it a README file or be it a code. So what is a README? README is a file that gets created or that we created externally, so as to show a description of what we have written. So for example, in this image, it has a readme.md, which shows the idea of what our project is all about. Next is the issues tab, which shows all the issues that is either created by the project owner or we created so as to point out some problem in their code. Then is a pull request tab that helps us in creating a pull request when we want to create that, when we want to correct someone else's code uh, and you want to contribute there. All right. So, so just like we discussed, so we have two ways of creating a PR. First one is via GitHub itself, and the second one is via a command line tool. So let's discuss how to create it via GitHub first. Okay, I hope I'm clear till here. Do you have any doubts? Okay, I suppose none. Please do ask and stop me in between anytime you feel that there's any doubt. Let's just head over to this repository. So, okay. Why I'm saying repository is because when we work in GitHub, our project for adding our project, we need to create a repository. Okay, so yeah, so the code tab is here, which shows all the code, and this is a README here. Issues, pull requests, as the name suggests. Okay, now let's add something here in the README. Like so, how do we do that? Is first we need to fork the repository. So while we fork it, you would not see these options. It's just because that I'm there in some of the organizations. So it would be directly forked. And this is like we have forked the repository. And then we could directly click on this pencil icon. And let's say, so I would just say that it's 15th November 2021 today. Let's say I just want to add this line. So I could just commit the changes. We'll discuss about what commit is actually. So for right now, you could just understand that commit is something that when you want to make some changes in someone else's code, we need to commit our change. And here we write what have we added. So let's just say added date, added today's date. And it's very important that we have a meaningful name to our commit. So, so this is what I did. It's been created on our MLSA demo repository. And but now this is there on my forked repository and not on the main repository. So when I traverse back, I find there must be an option for creating a pull request. Okay. So here, yeah, this shows that my branch is one commit ahead of the main branch of Yogita 10. That was the repository's admin. So what I'll do is I'll click on this contribute. So contribute is creating a pull request, and I'll open a pull request. Even you all could do this side by side and add some changes in the MLSA README file, or add some code or anything, and then just create a pull request. So I would create a pull request here. It's important to give a meaningful name to your PR again. So I'll just write updated README and added today's date. And then I'll create a PR. So once I click on create a PR, this this shows that the branch does not have any conflict with the base branch, and I cannot merge it now. So this option is there with the admins. So to merge our PR. So once our PR gets merged, the changes would be reflected right in the main readme. Okay, so Yokita could just merge my pull request and we'll see the changes here. So Yokita, could you merge my pull request, please?
Yes, I have merged. You can refresh.
Okay. Okay, so my pull request is merged, and
Sureksa, there is a doubt in a chat box that is what is readme.pdf and repository?
okay. So okay, so readme.m, it's not readme.pdf, it's readme.md. So readme.md is a file that is created when we create a repository. We have an optional file that we could create, and it helps us in describing what our project or what our repository is all about. So our project is like, so you all know what a project is, right? So in terms of GitHub, when we want to upload our project on GitHub, so as to maybe show it to our show it to anyone, or maybe show it to our recruiters or add to our resume file profile. So we add all our projects to GitHub, right? So for adding all our projects to GitHub, we upload it via creating a repository. We'll discover how to create a repository in a while. So this was the first way of creating a pull request directly via GitHub. So, and I hope I have answered your doubt. Is that here?
Okay, so you guys can also create a pull request side by side.
Yeah. Okay, great. It would be great hands-on workshop if you would directly just create pull requests and right now, right here, and ask us if you have any doubts. Okay, just stop me if you want to ask any doubt, or if you have any, if you want me to repeat anything. Okay, so let's move ahead. All right. So let's move on to a second way of creating a pull request, that is via command line. So before that, like, I think this was it. Okay. So let's just learn what is uh, like when we create a PR, what does happen? Okay. So there are three stages. The first one is there's a slide missing here. I'm sorry, but okay. So I'll just explain via pen. So whenever we create a pull request, we first add like whenever we are doing it, we just first add it. Okay. So we add all our changes to our file. We'll do that in a while, like practically, but I'm just explaining you what happens behind the scene. So add helps us in staging all the changes where we go. So let's say these are the three stage. These are the three stages. So this is a file, and we do some changes via add. So add helps us cross the first stage. So why is there this stage? Because if we wanna, we forgot to add some more change, we could just directly unadd it, go back to this stage, and do more changes, and then click on and then type in add. Okay, add our files. And then there's a second stage. This is commit. So commit states that now all our changes are no longer reversible, and we would have to push our changes to the main project. Okay, so this all happens locally on our system. So that was the first way of adding pull request was directly on GitHub, and the second way of creating a pull request is there on our local system first, and then we create a PR on the GitHub. Okay, so we link our account such that via using Git bash, via using Git, we are first adding and staging all our changes to the first stage, and then we, by clicking commit, we stage our changes to the second stage where the changes are no longer reversible, and we have an option only to push our changes to our and create a PR. Okay, so this is what is written here. So when we have once committed it, we just need to open a PR, and once a PR is created, they'll merge our PR into the branch, the master branch or the main branch, if the owner or the admin is satisfied with our changes. Okay, let's move on to the second slide. Okay, so we shared a link to install Git. So open Git bash on your system, and or if you are a Mac user, just open command line tool and type in git and dash dash version, and just check if this git version command appears on your screen. Let me know if you face any trouble or this doesn't appear. So are you guys with me? Okay, just a request. It's gonna be really interesting and really fun if we just all interact with each other. So you could just unmute yourself, ask doubts, or repeat. Like that's gonna be really fun. And I hope you are all are following alongside. Okay. So I'll just give a quick demo. So something like this output would appear on your screen, which shows that the kit is already there on your system. All right, let's move ahead. Yeah, someone wants to speak. Okay. All right. So now the next thing is we need to configure Git. So we need to connect our local system uh, with our account on GitHub, so that whatever changes we push gets pushed via our main account, and we are able to create a PR. So for that we need to configure Git, and for configuring Git we need to type in these commands right there. So okay, so let's just type in this command and user.name, and just change your and just type in your username here. Like mine is this, and I'll just type in this. And alright, global user.email. Alright, so this shows that my account has been configured. I hope this is what shows and you will not have faced any error. So how to check that if our correct username or email ID has been configured? We could just type in these commands: git config user.name. It would show me the name that I've typed in, and git config user.email, and it would show me my email ID. So I hope this all has worked for you and we're on the same page. Okay. All right. So now let's just clone the repository. Okay. So for cloning the repository, we can just fork the repository. The first step is to fork the repository, and then we could just clone it via copying the code from here. Okay. So for that, we create a folder on our desktop or anywhere, and like I've created the folder on desktop with the name GitHub. For going into GitHub, I'll just type, let me just enter desktop first. I'll just go into my folder and here I am. Okay. And you could right click on it and click paste. Okay. Just try this. Okay.
Raksha, sorry. I guess you have to clone the step of few folks.
Oh yeah, right. Right. Okay. So this is slight mistake. We have to clone our forked repository and copy it from here. Because all the changes that we make would be there in our forked repository and we cannot directly make changes to the main repository because that's something we do not have admin rights to. So I'll just delete that. Okay. Okay, so it's done. So here we are, and all the all the codes and all the README now shows up here. So this is about cloning the repository. Now let's move ahead. So the first thing that we want to do is create a branch. So why do we not work on the same branch? Just like we discussed earlier, we cannot work on the same branch and add uh, multiple changes to it because then that would have conflicts. Like just like I gave an example of different colors. When there are 5 people working in the same project and one wants to change the color of, let's say, background, and then all are adding there in the main branch, that would create a lot of conflict. So for avoiding that, we create multiple branches so that we could easily work on the same project. So let's just create a branch. So, so to create a branch, let's say, so the command get branch and you could enter any name of the branch. Let's say patch 1. Okay. So first we need to enter our repository. And then there's git init. Git is initialized here. And now we could create a branch here. So the branch is created. We would just write git branch patch 1. Just a second. So that is git branch. Okay, I think I just got this.
It is dash B. It is git branch dash B. Okay, git checkout branch. Kind like that.
Git checkout patch 1. Yeah, git checkout patching works. So git checkout patch 1 is the command for switching on to the next branch. Okay, then I want to add some changes. So let's say I'm just opening this README file. and add some changes here. Or let's say I want to add a code to it. So this is a code there, just staging this code. So how do we know that if we have created a change? So there is a command here, git status, that tells us what is the status of our files. So the first is the untracked files, because we haven't added those files, so they cannot be, they're unknown to our Git right now. So first we need to git add. So there are two ways. First, by typing in git add and all the file names, or we could directly press git add dot. So by pressing git add dot, it directly adds all the files to the staging stage. Okay, and now they all get tracked. If I just check git status, they're ready to be committed and they're staged right now. So if we find that we have staged some wrong file, so we could just unstage that file and go back to the previous stage. Okay. So now let's commit our file, and which has commit m. So my dash and send some message, and so whatever message we want to give to our commit, let's say code added, and the code is being added. Again, let's just check the status. So this is just a non-necessary step, and just for a confirmation that the process is being working fine. I'm talking about get status. So it's not important, but it's just it confirms that we are going in the right direction. So now we have committed a file. The only thing left is to push our changes to the repository. Okay. So first we need to add our the region where we need to add the files, and that would be the uh, link of our URL of the this repository. Okay, so we could also directly create a PR right from here, or we could create a PR directly from our command line as well. Let's just do it from here. Okay, so I could just directly add and push my changes. So here goes the name of the branch, and minus even origin shows where we wanna push our changes. So it takes time to push our changes. So that's what's happening right here. Okay, so I would have to sign in, and this takes some time. Okay, so just let's directly do it right from here. Okay, so our changes are not committed. That's why it's not showing any changes right now. Just give me a second. I need to sign in and just. All right. Okay, so it's taking a bit time. So you would also just do it alongside and ask if you have any doubts. I hope everyone is following alongside. All right, so I think this is done. And here we are. So our changes are pushed, and we could see that patch 1 has changes. So we could click on compare and pull request, and hence our code is being added here. So now we could just create a pull request right in the main branch of the uh, main repository, and here we are. So this is the second another pull request that we have created just via command line. I hope this is clear till here. You could just type in if everything is clear right now till here. I hope you all are listening, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is it, and let's move ahead. So this we have all discussed. Okay, so one thing that's left is to create a repository. Let's just quickly discuss that. So how do we create a repository? We click on plus icon and click on new repository. And whatever name I want to give to my repository, let's say demo Git and GitHub. So this is a available repository name, hence a text sign. Then I could choose it to be a public or private, add a README file if I want, or ignore it. And then I could just create a repository. All the description that I add here would be added directly to my README file. So I'm just creating an empty README file right now. And hence my repository is created. So we could directly add code here since we are the admins now, we could directly upload and create a files or go to a particular file, add and create pull request, or we could just do without creating pull requests right now. Like because since this is our repository. So this is it about Git and GitHub, which covers all the basics and how do we create pull requests and how do we work in all these important open source programs, or how do we work along with organizations and all. So yeah, so if you have any questions, any doubts, or you want me to repeat anything, so just unmute yourself. Yeah, so do we have any doubt? Okay, so we're just sharing a form. Please refill that form. Please fill that form for your certificates. Just a second.
Guys, you
So
need to fill this form for the certificate, and I guess you all should fill it right now.
Yeah, please fill this form as we won't be accepting any more responses after we end the session. And please ask doubts or any queries you have.
Also, guys, you all are requested to make a PR in the given repo.
Also, feel free to give feedback like how was the session or what improvement you want from our side or anything like that. Like you could unmute yourself anytime or type in the chat box. Okay. So thank you all for joining in. Please fill the form and then leave the session because we won't be accepting the responses after we end the session. Okay, thank you all for joining in once again.
Thank you, guys.